I think we should address the elephant in the room because somebody was complaining on Twitter tonight to my account about the power play being rather, I believe the term was sucky.
That's it? Sucky?
I mean, there were probably some
the
other
best
words.
you got?
Well, there's probably some other words there. Abysmal, frustrating, embarrassing, terrible, blah, 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 blah. Somebody tweeted back at me and said that Steve Spott has to go, that the power play has been awful. And I quote tweeted him back and said, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Steve Spott is not the problem with the Stars power play.
Smoked him.
And guess what?
Ended him.
I got
Has not
comment
been heard
after
from.
comment after. Everybody's upset about it. They want me to explain. They don't agree.
I would like to hear you explain also.
Okay. So, and a lot of the comments were, boy, this power play has been awful ever since the Stars hired Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott. I saw one person post and I don't get
Wait. Wasn't there power play on fire last year?
I will get to that. Don't get confused by this, but I had one reply post a comment from Reddit. Don't even worry about it, which is ridiculous, saying that the power play in Vegas when DeBoer was there with Spot was awful. Well,
you did some work, didn't you?
Oh, he's got printouts.
Oh yeah, he's going to do some work.
I was going to tweet.
I can
this.
probably get home. I get in the car and go home.
You know what
now.
I said? I decided I would wait till the show. Let's save the content.
Okay.
Let's not just give it away for free. Luddy, you mentioned something about the power play last year. Last year, the Dallas Stars power play for the regular season was 24.2%, which was the number 6 rated power play in the entire NHL out of 32 teams. The year before, they had a 25.0% power play. This was the 22-23 season, DeBoer's first season as the head coach. They ranked 5th. This year, coming into today's game, if you go back to 2022 to now, so the entire DeBoer era in the regular season, the Stars power play is the 7th best in the NHL. I am not saying that Dallas's power play is good right now. Far from it. It looks awful. But to say it's always been awful and it's the coach's fault is not the case. Now, there is a difference between someone being a problem, which he is not, and then being responsible for said power play, which they are. But how much of this goes to the players instead of the coaches?
Well, ultimately, it all goes on the players.
Thank you.
But
that's it.
But
it's on the players.
And I would also say that I don't feel that you put out all of it on Steve Spott, because it's not like this doesn't get run by the head coach, right? I mean, Spotter doesn't veto anything that Pete DeBoer says about the power play. You know, he can easily go, we're not putting this guy in the power play anymore, Steve. We're putting this guy out there. And Steve will go, okay. You know, so but I think they've got a record here of having a good top 10, top 7 power play over the last couple years and whatever it may be. So again, we talk about it all the time. Like, you know, there is a key component that's not here this year. Ding. I'm not even going to say his name anymore.
His name is Joe Pavelski.
Yeah. So, and again, you're probably going to go, well, Jesus, 40-year-old guy. But
violence tonight.
Joe did so much that went unnoticed in front of the net and tipping pucks and setting things up and making little plays and all this other stuff that they haven't found the replacement for him yet. You know, and before Joe came along, I don't know what their power play was then either, but I'm sure it wasn't as good as it was the years that Joe's been here. So, you know, but I think we're getting to a point, though, we're in game 20-something now. We're going to have to say, okay, well, Joe's not coming back, and you guys better figure it out, because when you're going to get to the playoffs eventually, you know, it's special teams and goaltending. That's what wins you games and series, and so they're going to have to get it straightened out.
So I can admit that the power play is poor. I mean, that's not even a debate. Like, it's been bad, especially at home. Amazingly, their power play on the road is pretty good this year, but their home penalty power play is the worst in the NHL, 32nd at home. They have a very good home record. They've lost on the AEC ice once. They lost their other home game in Finland. But Luddy, you mentioned talk about lack of practice time. What is the difference of being able to work on power play in practice versus a morning skate?
Hey, either way, to work on your power play against your own penalty killers or whatever you're using, sometimes it's 5-on-0, isn't like a game because you're not going 100% in practice. You're not shooting pucks the way you would the one-timers and things like that in practice like you would in a game because you don't want to hurt your own guys. You don't want to hurt your goalie. But, I mean, it's more about timing and where you're supposed to be and spots and stuff like that. And I've always said about power plays, the only way that a power play actually works when you draw it up is if the penalty killers are in the room with you from the other team and you're drawing the X's and the O's and they're the O's and they're going exactly where you draw them because they're the ones that can throw things off. So it's something that it's a timing thing. But the one thing that you want, whether one side or the other, whether it's a PK or a power play, penalty kill, whatever it is, you want it to at least create some momentum so that when it's over, whichever one it is, especially a penalty kill. I mean, when a penalty kill does a good job, there's a little boost on the, on the bench. And when you come up for your next shift and it's a 5-on-5 shift, you feel good about it. It's the other way around for a power play. I mean, if you're creating chances, you're getting scoring chances, the goaltender's making great saves, that's still a boost. But when it's not and it drains you, that's even worse than not scoring the goal on that because it becomes the responsibility of typically the third or fourth line guys because they're not part of the power play to come out and try to grab a little momentum back from not doing anything on the power play and get you back on track.
Hey, John, let's do one thing. So get your sounder ready.
Okay.
Because I think the fans' theme tonight is the sky is falling.
Well, that sucks.
That one also applies, though.
That does.
Well, that sucks.
That's new.
The sky is falling.
There we go. Let's go back to the beginning of the chat here because I want to emphasize a few of these. JT, if Steve Spott were a good coach, all caps, we would go 4 for 4 on the power play tonight and only lose 6-5. This is clearly a Steve Spott problem. So you see what we're working with here.
Hey,
I have
that's
a
your
question
opinion.
for you guys.
That's
What's
okay.
that?
I have a question for you guys, and this might just be me stupid not knowing things. So when I got this job, I started researching the Stars and all this stuff. And one thing I came across, it might have even been a Sean Shapiro article, was about Pete DeBoer in Western Conference Finals over multiple teams. So with San Jose, I think twice with Vegas, and then with Dallas. And the power play disappears in these Western Conference Finals. As far my understanding is that Steve Spott is the coach for all of those. Why is that? What is that trend? Why does that? Is that just them going up against buzzsaws when they get to that point? And I know it's November, and the producer's asking you about the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, there was a big storyline, Luddy, last year of you can't go 0 for the power play. 0 power play goals in the conference final and expect to win. Now, a lot of people praised Edmonton's penalty kill for being extremely aggressive and very effective. And it was. But both things can be true, that your power play wasn't good enough and they were really good. I don't have an answer for that. Do you?
Well, I say this all the time. When you're in the playoffs, coaches have to find ways to adjust and to change because that's what your opponent's supposed to do. Is they're going to try. You play the same team every other night for 14 days, and there has to be adjustments made, especially when you got a couple teams that are pretty even. And so you're trying to take a little momentum away here. You have to try to find a way to have a team do something different than what their A plan is. And so Dallas now, here's what you can do. You can take your third line guys that don't get on the power play. The next game they get out there and put your third line guys out there and go tell them to play it like it's 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Just go play, create momentum, pucks go in, crash the net, and start getting a couple chances. And because what it does the most is it bothers this, 6 or 7
your
guys.
Power play guys.
Yeah, because they're not getting out there, right? And it pisses them off. So send your third line guys out there. Send your fourth line guys and say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to roll the lines now. We're just going to roll it. Piss them off. And then if nothing else is working, you got to try to do something else.
Not that quote, but the previous one from Willow. If you have that one you posted before, can you go back to that one? That one. Willow, who was on my Twitter tonight, demanding me to engage, and I said I would here on the show. Why is Steve Spott responsible for the power play not accountable for how flat it has been since the players stopped carrying it partway through last season? Thoughts?
I mean,
is it too easy to blame the guy that's
he's
in
not
charge
going to
of the
put the
power play?
skates on and go out there and do it. So
here's my thing, Luds. I've played clips for you in the last couple weeks, both from Spott and from DeBoer, who have talked about the power play needs to be a shot first, get retrievals, and Pete even said this directly. Once you get the penalty kill out of its defensive structure, that's when the creative side can take over. How do you get your creative guys to show restraint and not try to overdo it?
You need a buy-in from your players to do that, because the only time that I ever really see them have that mentality, and I believe it's the right way to do it, is when you win the opening face-off. If you take the face-off in the offensive zone like that at the start of the power play, and instead of setting up, because what happens if you get the puck, and Lemiro did it tonight, he gets the puck back, he walks to the middle, and he shoots the puck at the net. What has to happen is the forwards got to get out and try to get in lanes, and they're coming out. The puck is passing them as his shot goes, and now we're going to the net. Now all of a sudden you're going to outnumber in front of the net. They have to have that mentality. If you haven't made a play, or there hasn't been something through the seam or some high quality scoring chance after 2-3 passes, get to the best spot you can, and we're going to the net. And that's our plan. And what we're going to do is the other two guys that are down low, they're going to gravitate to the front of the net, and the offside defenseman's going to gravitate to the net. We're just going to start creating opportunities off of rebounds, bad bounces, and we're going to have bodies there. But if you want to keep moving it around the perimeter, that's why sometimes I get upset. Like their first two entries, and they come down and they want to tic-tac-toe, and it doesn't work out. It gets turned over somewhere right away, and it goes back down the ice. There's another 15 seconds. Maybe after that, we got to get pucks in. We got to get three guys that go and get it. Start winning some battles, win some puck battles and some territorial battles there, and play like it's 5-on-5.
I'm seeing chat saying we should hire. Lyle says, I think Gerard Gallant should turn this team around. DeBoer is well known for his inability to change or deviate. I respect him as a man, but we will never win a cup with him at the helm. Gallant. That seems a bit of an overreaction after a night like tonight, right?
Yeah, but hey, they pay their money.
They do.
They can.
We're here to talk you off the ledge, right?
But it is frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating for us.
It is.
We sit in there and we're frustrated. Like, oh my God, shoot the puck. God.
We laugh. I remember the other night we're doing the broadcast after the Carolina game, and somebody in the chat was like, "Why is Owen smiling and laughing so much?" Well, because if not, we'd probably want to go hang ourselves.
Here's what you guys are going to
games. We have to deal with this.
Here's what you guys are going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Next game, who we playing? Oh, Colorado. So we're going to see Cale Makar walk to the middle of the ice and let that bullet of a wrister go.
Yep.
We're going to see Nathan McKinnon get it on the half wall, and he's going to let that bullet go. He's going to make a couple passes here, or Rantanen. They're going to get to a point where they're going to shoot pucks at the net, and they're going to do it after 2 or 3 passes that break down. And that's just how they're going to approach it. And that's how I would like to approach it too, but I'm not there.